there. So now we begin with NDCs, right?
Yes, sir.
So what are NDCs? Has anyone completed the home assignment? What are NDCs? Tell me. Please write on messages, okay? Don't speak. Please write on messages because it creates disturbance, okay? Write in message, okay? What is NDC? What you have learned about it? This way I also will be clear about what you have understood, what you have done. So what are NDCs? I've told you that earlier the name was INDC, intentionally determined contribution, but later it came out like this. When the Paris Agreement was finalized, it became NDCs, nationally determined contributions, right? So yeah, Arpit, Pooja, I'm not asking for the full form. I'm asking I've asked you to read about all the NDCs that India has reduced emission intensity of GDP. Yes, that's the first one, Palak. The first one is to reduce emission intensity of GDP. There are around 3 such contribution targets. Reduce emission. Okay, I think I should clear this first. Okay, so now we begin. So NDCs. The first one is to reduce emission intensity of GDP. Okay. The second one, Sakshi, Manju Paul, adaptation. What kind of adaptation? Please be clear, Manju. Then Sakshi, 250 to 300 gigawatt of solar power. Sakshi, this 250 to 300 gigawatt, though it is a part of renewable energy generation, but it's majorly a part of JNRUM, Jawaharlal Nehru Mission for Renewable Energy. Okay. So better you write 40% target of renewable energy generation. Okay, that's it. That's the second one. 40% of total generation. Specifically, they have mentioned of non-fossil fuels, from non-fossil fuels, and this contains renewables also. Okay, this non-fossil fuels contains renewables also, and from nuclear. Nuclear power is also non-fossil fuel power generation. Okay, so it is not, yes, Palak, it is from non-fossil fuel based energy. The target is 40%. Okay, then what's left? NAURIM, one of its goals is to create an additional carbon sink of 2.3 billion tons of CO2. So okay, now I think, okay, sustainable life, Pooja. I think, Pooja, you have not got my point. Only you have to write is that those three targets. You don't have to write anything else. Okay, Manju, cleaner economic development. I'm only asking for those NDC targets. Don't write anything else here. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you, do one thing from now on. Suppose this is your page. So I told you that the first topic we are doing is environment and ecology. This is the first topic. We have only till done this environment part. Still we are going to do this ecology. Okay, the ecology part is still left, right? So if this is your page, make it like this. Leave this section for writing facts. Suppose I told you something like capital of South Africa, or that UNEP thing, right? Or about Kyoto Protocol, or if there is some question, okay? Then if I suppose you are writing ecology, and in between I mention some organization. So what you have to do? Okay, flyers. Okay. So what you have to do? Make a section on a page like this. Then write specifically about that, like Kyoto Protocol. If I mention Kyoto Protocol in between, and if I give some details on it, okay, I will make you write. Don't worry. From now on, I'll make you write all those things. Okay, but in detail, they will come in their own section at their appropriate place. Yes, Parak, enhancing the forest carbon sink of 2.3 to 3 billion. Okay, So what I'm telling you, so when you are writing ecology, right here, if there is some extra detail and it's big or it's large amount of data, then you can write in this manner. And for facts, you can make columns here. Okay. So from now on, we are going to do it like this. So today, what you have to do, suppose you have written till ecology or levels of ecology for yesterday. Now make a page, a part like this, NDC on your page, make a blog. And now I'm going to tell you about NDCs. So now I'm going to make you write about these NDCs. Okay. So now we are starting with this so mega heading, nationally determined contributions. Nationally determined contributions. So is everyone getting? Now you can speak. Is everyone getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now
sir.
okay. So where
Sir,
this
please repeat it again. Hello?
hello? Who is there?
Uh,
Pooja or Priyanka?
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
yes,
please repeat
Priyanka.
it again.
I have said nothing, but you have to make a section and write a heading: nationally determined contributions. I have said nothing else. Just make a column, a kind of box. The lower limit will be decided later. Okay, make the 3 sides and write a heading: nationally determined contributions. So shall I begin now with this NDC part?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now Rim. Anyone else? कोई तो हाँ बोल दिया करो यार.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Harsh, Palak,
Yes,
Sakshi.
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay, okay. Okay, let us now begin. So right, NDCs are the nationally determined contributions. NDCs are the nationally determined contributions decided or NDCs are the nationally determined contributions forming the heart of Paris Agreement. Forming the heart of Paris Agreement. Written.
Yes, sir.
So the write in points. Okay, that would be better. So this was the first point. Write in second point that they are the self-determined. They are the self-determined efforts. They are the self-determined efforts by each country. They are the self-determined efforts by each country to reduce emissions. They are the self-determined efforts of each country by each country. They are the self-determined efforts by each country to reduce emissions and adapt to the impact of climate change. And adapt to the impact of climate change. Done.
Yes, sir.
Adapt to the impact of climate change. Article 4 of the Paris Agreement.
Please repeat from reduce emissions.
Reduce emission and adapt. Yes, Preetham, adapt to the impact of climate change. Adapt to the impacts of climate change. Done?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the next point, Article 4 of the Paris Agreement. Article 4 of the Paris Agreement requires each nation. Article 4 of the Paris Agreement requires each nation to prepare communicate Article 4 of the Paris Agreement requires each nation, each nation to prepare, communicate, and maintain, successive nationally determined contributions. To prepare and maintain successive nationally determined contributions. Done. Done, everyone?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, repeat from nationally contributed nations.
Nationally determined contributions to prepare and maintain successive nationally determined contributions. Prepare, communicate and maintain nationally determined contributions.
Okay, sir.
मतलब खुद बनाए, हमें बता भी दे और आगे के लिए भी implement. Successive in the sense, if there is need of further making these NDCs, suppose they have been made as a 2015 arrangement, that Paris Agreement. But if there is need of further enhancing or increasing such efforts, then please make them and communicate us. Us means to UNEP or UNFCCC. Okay, the UN body, implementing agency type. Okay. So next, right? They are the NDCs for India. A kind of subheading, NDCs for India. NDCs for India. Manju, please mute your mic. Do you want to ask something? Manju, you can write in message if you want to ask something. Because there's a noise in your background. Manju, are you getting me? Okay. So have you written this NDCs? So the next heading was subheading NDCs of India, and write the first target. What was the first target? So the first target was, what was the first target? To reduce emission intensity. To reduce emission intensity of GDP by 33 to 35% of 2005 levels. This is the first SDG. Oh, sorry, the first NDC, the first target under NDC of India. To reduce emission intensity of GDP by 33 to 35% of 2005 levels. The emission India was making in 2005 per capita GDP. What is emission intensity? Emission intensity is the emission made in generating per unit GDP, or emission intensity is the emissions made per unit GDP. In production of 1 unit of GDP, the amount of emissions made is known as emission intensity. Because emission intensity is generally defined as emissions, the rate of emissions in doing an activity is its emission intensity. Insensitivity. Sorry. It's my tongue is slipping right now. Intensity. Okay. So the emission intensity is the amount of is the rate of emission in doing for an activity. Emission intensity for an activity is the amount of emission or the rate of emission made in doing that activity. So for GDP, the emission intensity is the amount of emission made in producing 1 unit of GDP. Okay. So we do you have written that first one, to reduce emission intensity of GDP by 33% to 35%?
Sir, whatever you told, that repeat it again.
Okay, okay. Listen to me. You only have to write here that first point, to reduce emission intensity of GDP, and it's written on the screen. I think it is visible to you. Okay. I have dictated this point. Okay, Manju. I think. Okay.
So that is clear.
Palak. Okay.
You
Have
told
you written the
about
first
emission.
point?
Yes,
First,
sir, that is
listen to
clear.
me. Have you written that first point?
Yes, sir.
Now make a kind of column or something circle where you can write this definition of emission intensity. Emission intensity, nothing else. Emission intensity. The definition of emission intensity was simple. Simply write in my words. Emission intensity is the rate of emission. Emission intensity is the rate of emission in doing an activity. So for GDP, get it, just get it. First understand the concept. Okay. So the emission intensity for GDP is emission rate for producing a unit of GDP. Emission intensity for GDP is emission rate for producing 1 unit of GDP. अब हो गया सबका?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
मतलब हो गया ना? I mean, you have
Yes,
you written
sir.
that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Sakshi, have you written? Priyanka Chumpi, have you written? Okay. Okay, then after this first point, write the second one. What was the second point? The second point is to achieve 40%. To achieve 40% of cumulative electric power generation. To achieve 40% of the cumulative electric power generation from non-fossil fuels. Okay. From non-fossil fuels. By 2030. Both the targets are for 2030. That the first one, the second one is also for 2030, right? Then, and the second target is to be accomplished using low-cost international funds. Low-cost interest. Yeah. Harsh, are you asking something? So, second point complete. Second point complete. 40% of cumulative electric power generation. Cumulative electric power generation from non-fossil fuels by 2030 using low-cost international funds. Example, Green Climate Fund. Using low-cost international fund. Low-cost international fund. Example, Green Climate Fund, GCF. I think second point is done. Shall I move for the third one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the third point. Oh, sorry. The third point is to generate an additional sink. To generate an additional sink. What is a sink? This sink is for trapping the carbon, right? This sink is carbon sink. To generate additional carbons, you can write carbon sink here. Okay. This to generate an additional carbon sink for 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 for storing 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2. Okay. Additional carbon sink for 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2. And how could it be done? ये कैसे करेंगे हम लोग? Any idea?
By increasing the forest area.
Yeah. So
By
actually,
increasing the forest area.
yes, Palak, yes, you are right. We are going to do two things there. One is afforestation. That is, we are going to increase the area of forest. Okay. As per the ISFR report, I gave you the hint in sources about this report. Presently, India is having 24% area under forest. It's 24 point something, right? This Indian State of Forest Survey report. This is a fact you can write on the column only of your page here. So ISFR report has 2019 has said that India has around almost 24% area under forest. You can write here on the column. Okay, so we are going there to generate this thing by doing two things. First is additional forest or increasing the area under forest, and second is increasing the density of forest by the method of reforestation. What we are going to do in this, you might have heard about open forest, closed forest, and dense forest. So don't write this. I am only explaining the concept. What we are going to do in this increasing density of forest. Okay, don't write this anything.
Sir, could you
So
please
what?
explain what open forest and closed forest are? I don't know.
Yeah, Sharda, what are you saying?
Sir, could you please explain what open and closed forest are?
Yeah, I'm going to explain that. I'm going to explain that. Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry. I was going to explain that, but I was asking to not to write anything.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that ISFR report mentions about three kind of forests. One that is having tree density of more than 70%. They are called very dense forest. Very dense forest. The second one are having tree density 40% to 70%. Around 40% to 70%. Okay. From 40% to 7%. They are dense forest. They are very dense forest. They are dense forest. And those areas having tree density less than 10%, they are called as open forest because very less number of trees are there. So in that 24%, what the figure I told you, 24% for the entire Indian landscape, 24% of entire Indian landscape or Indian land. Okay, is under forest. So it includes all these type of forest, and the large area of this 24% is an open area forest. Okay. So we are trying to plant more trees in these areas so that more trees can come. The quality of these forests can improve, and the carbon sink generated can be increased in size. Because afforestation or planting forests in new areas is a difficult task because we don't have land for this large population of ours. Okay, size of India, per capita land in India is very low as compared to other countries. Per capita means the land per person, availability per person. These are concepts like per capita, they will come in economics. So don't worry. And just open, okay, you can make this diagram like this, open, dense and very dense forest. But they also will come in ISFR report. And I will teach you that ISFR report. I will tell you about the characteristics of ISFR, the keywords that I will tell you later. This was to explain that what we are going to do, we are plant more trees in this open forest. Okay. One is planting new forest, another is to increase the density of these open forests. Okay, I think now we are done with the homework part. Okay, so it took around half of my time to complete the homework of yours. Okay, then let me give you a bit of current affairs related to these NDCs. In 2019, what happened? Emission gap report was published. Emission gap report. So what this report measures, what type of gap? So in Paris Agreement, हमारी deal क्या हुई है? To keep it below 0 degree, 1.5 degree centigrade. And what currently we are doing? Current scenario है क्या? Clear? So the gap, this gap is measured by this report, and this report is published by UNEP. अब कोई बताओ ये यूएनईपी की रिपोर्ट कहाँ पढ़ाई है, सिग्निफिकेंस बताओ, और फिर मैं इस रिपोर्ट के बारे में थोड़ा सा और बताता हूँ. आई विल एक्सप्लेन समथिंग मोर अबाउट दिस रिपोर्ट. ओके, so first tell me where I told you about this UNEP report.
It was during the Stockholm, yes, in the Stockholm summit.
The Stockholm summit. Yes,
when
Arpit.
it was held by UN conference of in Sweden in 1972.
Yeah, it was a kind of UN conference under which UNEP was formed, right, Arpit? Bilkul correct. So the date of its formation, the UNEP, you can make this, okay, in this side column of your copy, you can write about UNEP, sorry, a bit, only a bit. And this also emission gap report, 2019, only on the sides of your copy, that emission gap report released by UNEP, because UPSC asked such question. You can see the question papers of last 2-3 years or 4-5 years. You will find that this report is released by which organization. They ask you. So emission gap report is the report which measures this gap. Do you understand what gap I am talking about? You can message, okay? You can message. If you didn't get anything, you can message, you can speak. I'm getting no response of you. No, sir, Preetham, no. Okay. So, Preetham, what you didn't get? Preetham? Write a message or speak yourself. Gap. Preetham, the gap is, I have told you that, okay, let me take an example here. If someone is on dieting, okay, let me take an example. If a person is on dieting, so, and the doctor recommends him to eat 2 rotis a day. Okay, and he is eating 3 rotis a day. Are you getting it? So if he is eating 3 rotis a day, there is a gap of 1 roti. There's a gap of 1 roti, right? So the same thing is here. Our environment doctors are recommending us that please emit this much amount of gases so that we can keep this 1.5 degrees centigrade limit intact. But what we are doing, we are emitting more than what our environmental doctors are suggesting in current scenario. So there is a gap in what is told and what we are doing. Now is it clear, Preetham? Clear na, Preetham? Okay. Disha, are you asking something?
No, sir.
Okay. So anyone else who is not clear with this? You can write yes or no in this message. Okay, in message section. Disha, please mute your mic. Actually, clear. Okay, Harsh, clear. Okay, Lakshmi, clear. Okay. So I was telling you about this UNEP significance. Only a bit I will tell you that UNEP was a body formed on 5th of June in 1972. This date is important because 5th of June is celebrated as 5th of June is celebrated as
So World Environment Day.
Yeah, right, Sakshi. So this 5th of June is celebrated as World Environment Day. This was the date on which UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, was formed. It's a UN body seeking the efforts for coherent environmental conservation or improvement in our living standards, especially the ecological living standards. Don't write these things, okay? So have you written about this UNEP thing, 5th June 1972? Now another fact about UNEP, its headquarters is located where? Any idea? Harsh is typing something. Harsh. Preetham is also typing something. Kenya, yes, Preetham, Kenya. So it's located in Nairobi. Nairobi. Nairobi is a character from Money Heist, so देखा ही होगा. Okay. So Nairobi is the capital of Kenya, and it is where the UNEP headquarters is located. And only I discussed it because rarely we see that international organization have headquarters in Asia or Africa. Mostly they are situated in America, North America or Europe. Okay. So this was all I was telling about you. So now coming to this environment emission gap report. This report is telling that at current scenario, अगर हम ये 3 रोटी खाते रहे, if we are still going to, if we are continue eating these 3 rotis, then where we will end up? We will end up with rise of 3.2 degrees centigrade rise by end of this 21st century. In 2100, we would witness the 3.2 degrees centigrade rise in temperature. Okay. Otherwise, so why I was talking about all this? Why? I was coming to that NDC same thing. The current for that NDC is that to be in line with this 1.5 degree centigrade target, to be in line, हमें 2 रोटी खानी होंगी. What are those 2 rotis? We have to five-fold our NDCs. We have to five-fold the targets under NDCs for the next decade. मतलब जो हम कर रहे हैं उसका 5 गुना करना पड़ेगा for the next decade. We have to five-fold our efforts in next decade to be in line with this 1.5 degree centigrade target. आया समझ में? Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Palak. Okay, Harsh. Okay, now Rain. So where are other people? Kirti, Chumpi, Arpit. Aman has not come today. Okay. Okay. So now I'm ending with this current part and moving on to our basics. So where we left yesterday. So I'm going to start from there only. I think enough current I have explained to you, and these current are important. I've told you that the theory I am doing, it's for the concept building. It's important, but what UPSC is asking, they are asking the current. So we have to read this theory, because if the word like ecotone or that estuary or nutrition cycle comes where, so you must have the idea what it is. Okay, वो है क्या पता तो होना ही चाहिए. You must know what it is. Then you can do that current affair part. But giving you a glimpse is also necessary. So we completed this question yesterday, and we had did this ecology definition is written. Okay. Okay or not? We have
Yes,
written
sir.
the ecology definition yesterday, and sorry for the mistake. Yeah, we were doing the ecology levels of ecology, and sorry for the mistake. We because the image I used the last time was a bit different, which didn't discuss about this biome part. Okay. Disha, are you speaking something? Actually, there are six. There are 6 levels. There are 6 levels of this ecology. I discussed it with you yesterday. There are 6 levels of ecology. The first one is individual level, then population, then community, then ecosystem, then biome, then biosphere. At some places, we find 5 levels where they don't discuss this biome part. But they are general, in usual case, they are 6 levels. Okay. So what are these levels? I told you that at what level we are studying the environment part, the interaction between living and non-living is ecology. So these are the levels, at what level we are studying them. Okay, am I clear? So I'm going to begin with this individual part again. Okay, because I think only 2 or 3 we had done yesterday, I think till community. So I'll begin with this individual part again. Okay. So Till now, everything clear? Disha, Manju, Naurem, Navya. I haven't heard anything from Navya. Navya? Are you there? Hello, Navya. Do reply with a message or speak something.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes. So, have you got what I have told you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Navya,
Yes,
what
sir.
you where we ended? Where we ended yesterday?
Yesterday,
What was the last thing you wrote?
sir, I didn't attend yesterday's class, sir.
May I ask you why was it so?
Yes, sir. Like I've checked the PDF, but I didn't attend the class, sir.
Okay. Okay. But I want you all to be here to write at least what I am asking you to write. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then who else is left here? Surya. I haven't heard from you as well. Surya, what was the last thing you wrote yesterday?
Sir, yesterday I was absent, sir, but I saw the video, sir.
Okay, you saw the video.
But until what is ecology? That's up to that only we was correct.
Okay. So it's only I was asking you so that, but the response I'm getting is not good. People were not there. People have not written. I think this is not going to work. Okay. So what about those who are active here, like Palak? What was the last thing you have written, Palak?
So last time I have written about ecology, the definition you taught.
Then what about the levels of ecology?
Yeah, levels of ecology I have written all the names. And
At least I gave you the definition of individual in one line, population in one line, and then
Yeah.
community in one line. So what was the population or community definition?
what is the
Community, the definition of community.
community is the assemblage of all the population.
So speak one by one, please, Pooja. Speak one by one. I'm asking to Palak. What is community, Palak?
Community is the assemblage of all the populations.
Community was the group of different species. Okay. Community was about the group
plants,
of
animals.
different species. And then population. So Pooja, you were answering about, okay, come with population definition. Pooja, tell me the definition of this population, which I gave yesterday.
Group of organism of same species.
Yes. Group of organism from same species. Okay. So now today I'm going to tell you with the first level itself. So you can give it a heading like this, levels of ecology, and we are going to start with this individual. So why we discuss individual? I gave you example of red panda yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
So what happens if there's a threat on red panda? Because here we will discuss with only one animal, even if a human being, only one animal. How his organs, how his parts of his body have come together to form him or her only. एक इंडिविजुअल अपनी सोसाइटी में कैसे सस्टेन कर रहा है, हाउ द वन ऑर्गेनिज्म इज सस्टेनिंग बीइंग द इकोसिस्टम in herself or himself, okay, in oneself. So this is not to be written, okay. I will tell you the definition, don't worry. So now writing points, okay. The first thing we here study is natural selection. Natural selection. You might have heard the theory of natural selection of Darwin. So what we see here, that what are the traits of an individual which make him sustain or live in the environment? What are the traits of individual which make one sustain in the environment or in ecosystem? Clear? And this is simple natural selection, right? The traits which nature favors. Suppose there is high temperature, so only those plants who can survive the high temperature, only those animals who can survive the high temperature conditions will be the one naturally selected, and they only will be able to sustain. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so natural selection is the first thing, and the second thing is optimum condition. The same thing actually, optimum condition to live and reproduce, to sustain. Sorry, I have done something. Okay, this optimum condition to sustain and reproduce, because for living organism, reproducing themselves is the criteria of being them healthy, that they are able to increase themselves. Actually, it's the basic thing with nature. If the plants are able to grow themselves, if the animals are able to increase their population, okay, so with individual, this is the thing. Here we see the natural selection of environment and the optimum condition to sustain and reproduce. Okay. So have you got what the first level of ecology is? First level of ecology is to study an individual on the basis of this natural selection and his optimum condition of sustenance. Because ecology is a study of interaction, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, now Rain. So, okay, Harsh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what about Pooja? What about the Disha? Preetam. Okay, Preetam. Preetam. Are you there, Preetam? Kirti.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. Okay. So this is what we study at the level of individual in an ecology or in an ecosystem. And this makes the first level of studying environment. That is the first level of ecology. Now we are going to discuss the second level of ecology. The second level of ecology is about population. So how we can discuss or how we can study the population in an ecosystem? मतलब कौन से traits क्या देखें हम? What we are going to learn about them, so that there can be effort, there can be we can take steps. If the population is on decline, how we can reverse that trend? Suppose a species is on decline, this population of a species is on declining trend. Let us take an example. Okay, on an island lives one species of rat. Just an example, okay. So, okay, we can take like, okay, it's rat is okay. Otherwise, I was going to take kangaroo. So, suppose on an island, a rat is there. A species of rat is there. Only a single species of rat is there. And if there are adverse climatic conditions due to temperature or high precipitation or due to rising sea level, so if these are abiotic factors or the physical factors, non-living factors, right? So if due to these adverse climatic conditions, the population, this population of this rat declines, so it may become extinct if their conditions are extreme. If these conditions are extreme, the population of this rat would become extinct, right? Right or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So at this level, we study that what are their practices, how they interact among themselves, Okay. Okay. It includes
Yes, sir.
things like a cub's relation with loin, cub and loin relation. Okay. A calf or cow relation. It's kind of the population, the members of same species. Or suppose there are monkeys fighting, mating, and there can be loins. Okay. Eating together. These can be the interactions between the species or the individuals of same species in a population. And if we know these kind of interactions, we can help this declining rat population to thrive again, or to come again onto the so that वो वापस जिंदा मतलब बच सकें. to conserve them, to make our efforts to conserve them, to be specific, to conserve them, prevent them from becoming extinct. Okay. So I think this population part is also done. And these kind of species which have only single habitat, which are very rarely distributed and have rare food habits, like red panda. I told you yesterday, red panda, which is situated in the northeastern part and only eat that babool plant, eucalyptus plant, and who have only eating habits related to eucalyptus plant. So you can think of that quite specific kind of interactions this red panda is having. Red panda lives in, especially in this northeast region, and have quite a specific interaction with the environment, that it eats only this eucalyptus leaves. Okay? Okay or not? You don't have to write, you just have to write that the population interaction among the same species, and you can take this example as well, that one. So I was only telling you, so what will happen if this eucalyptus trees goes extinct? This red panda species will also go extinct. What happens if there is a large scale deforestation? If we didn't study this kind of interaction, and suppose in northeast we witness large scale of deforestation. So what will happen? The habitat and food sources will be lost for the species and will lead to its extinction. Okay. Now tell me, till now everything is clear? अभी तक समझ सामने आया सब कुछ? भैया कोई है? Is anyone there?
Yes, sir.
You people seem like you are sleeping. Okay. Yes. Don't take like this. Okay. Then the population part is done. Then we are going to see this community part, right? Then what this community part is, so as you can see, the individual is a one fish only. And in this population part, we have group of these fishes, the same fish. Then in community, we can see the interaction between the fish with jellyfish, with the crab. So the community, the definition is the group of individuals of different species in an ecosystem. Group, the population की definition थी, the group of species, the definition of population was the group of species of the group of individuals of same species in an ecosystem. Group of individuals of same species, that was for population. For community, the definition is the group of individuals from different species in an ecosystem. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happens, here also I will try to explain you with an example. Anyone have heard about rainforest? What are the rainforests? Tropical rainforest, specifically tropical rainforest. कुछ idea है? मतलब, is any idea about tropical rainforest?
Sir, they are found on the place where there is a heavy rainfall.
What else?
So most
They
of
are
the
in eastern
species
part.
most
Please speak one by one. Please speak one by one. Yeah, Palak, you can speak now.
It is a hot, and the vegetation and species are found most there.
Okay. Then Sakshi, what else you were talking about?
Sir, they are found on Western Ghats and Andaman and Nicobar Island.
Sorry, Sakshi.
In India.
Those are evergreen forests. So, Pritam, all months have an average precipitation at least 60 mm. Okay. What else? Anyone? Anyone else? Okay. So let me give you an idea. So first, let me tell you about these tropical rainforests. So in the region near equator, suppose this is 0 degree line on Earth. Suppose this is Earth and this is 0 degree line, and what we call it equator, right? So near the equator, what happens? The condition in 10° north and south, right? 10° north and 10° south. North, south. This is the line. Okay. So what happens near the equator? We do not have much movement of air, but the sunlight are direct. The sunlight are direct on this part throughout the year. So whatever moisture at this place in water bodies or elsewhere rises to upper layers of atmosphere, and it rains every day. It rains every day in this region. It is called 4 o'clock rainfall. These are the climatic conditions. I am talking about the climatic condition this region. And because of this 4 o'clock rainfall, which occurs every day, the vegetation thrives with a large number of species of both flora and fauna, and the forest with very large number of species. In these tropical areas, there's in hot and humid condition. Hot due to large temperature and humid due to heavy rainfalls. So the forest with large number of species in this hot and humid condition are called tropical rainfalls. Clear? Answer me. Like kuch bolo.
Yes, sir.
Please speak yourself. Please. I want an interactive session with you people. You can speak on mic. You can write in messages, so that I can see that everyone is active. कोई सो तो नहीं रहा पीछे? Is anyone sleeping there? Shada,
No,
are you
sir.
sleeping? Shada,
Yes, sir.
are you sleeping?
No, sir.
You don't answer any question of mine. Why is it so? Shada,
I'm not really very knowledgeable in these topics. Sorry, sir.
okay, you can try. You can try. Don't worry. I'm not playing the KBC here, so that you have to show your knowledge. You have to understand. Just you have to understand. जो मैं कह रहा हूँ वो समझ में आना चाहिए. Whatever I am telling you, you must get it. That's the point here. You must enjoy the 1 hour, this 1 hour session. You must enjoy this 1 hour session, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think tropical rainforest is clear. So what are the this is a geographical concept. So in community, we were talking about the example, and what the example was, in tropical rainforest we have trees. Because the sunlight is direct and rainfall is heavy, large number of trees thrive. Okay, so there can be big trees, the trees with large height can be seen in these tropical rainforests. And then there are trees with these kind of herbs with very low height. So what happens? The canopy, you know the canopy is this covered, this part, the area covered by the top of tree. This area is canopy. Okay. So the canopy of these large trees cover the most. Suppose this is a top view. You understand the top view? ऊपर से देख रहे हैं. So suppose this is a top view and you see these kind of canopies there. So what will happen? Only the herbs here and here will get the amount of sunlight. But other nutrients are available, like rainfall or the humus in soil. They are available in rich quantity. I'm talking about tropical rainforest. So what happens? Trees like epiphytes grow. बेल जिसे बोलते हैं, epiphytes, which live on other plants. Epiphytes. These epiphytes live on other plants, and they reach the top to gain access to sunlight. Similar thing happens with other plants. They transform their shape so that they can access sunlight. Are you getting me? They are adapting to the conditions of nature. They are adapting to the conditions of nature. Trees in tropical rainfall. So the one line example is the example I'm telling about. In one line, the crux is the trees, the species of trees in tropical rainforest transform themselves or adapt themselves to gain access to sunlight. to gain access to sunlight. The trees in tropical rainforest adapt themselves to gain access to sunlight. Example I am talking, you can write this line as a community, then definition I have given you, then you can write example, and then this line. The trees in tropical rainforest adapt themselves to gain access to sunlight. And this is a way of community interaction. This is a way of community interaction. Okay? Okay or not? Community done?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I can give another example to you. Another example is of xerophytes. What are xerophytes? What are xerophytes? You will heard this name many a times. What are xerophytes?
Desert plants.
Desert plant, right? Aditi, Darkunde, and others. What about others? Okay, I assume. Okay, I assume that. Okay, let me tell you what are xerophytes. So xerophytes are the plants which require very less amount of water for their sustenance. Very less amount of water. Less amount of water for their sustenance. These are xerophyte plants. You might have heard about cactus. So what I'm trying to tell you, there are adaptations among xerophytes as well. There are adaptation among xerophytes as well. With respect to one species, that the one species interacting with other. So suppose if we have one species which is getting less amount of water, so what it will adapt, what are the adaptations they make? They make adaptations like they have waxy leaves, more number of thorns. Okay. Suppose there are two species. One is of cactus and another one is of some another plant in the desert. So this another plant has very deep roots. This is adaptation in desert. Okay. So what happens? This deep root plant will gain all this water. Okay. Then what will cactus do? Cactus will have only thorns. They won't have leaves or leaves with waxy cover, so that water do not transpire. Transpire means evaporation in plants. Okay. So there is no transpiration, trans-evaporation. There is no trans-evaporation or transpiration. Okay, from the leaves of cactus. So how cactus adapted? Cactus adapted by transpiration. This plant adapted by waxy leaves, and this plant adapted by deep roots. So they are interacting among themselves. This has attracted the water, so this has adapted in another manner. So these species are interacting among themselves. Harsh and Navya, please mute your mics. Okay, I think this example is also clear to you all. Clear, everyone?
Yes,
Clear?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next thing is ecosystem. The next thing is ecosystem. Okay. So actually I'm not going to do ecosystem here. I'm only going to give you an idea that ecosystem is a self-sustaining unit. Ecosystem is a self-sustaining unit. You only write this much. Ecosystem is a self-sustaining unit of interacting biotic and abiotic components in an environment. Of interacting biotic and abiotic components in an environment. Ecosystem is a self-sustaining unit of biotic and abiotic components in an environment. Written? Written or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is ecosystem. I'm going to come on this ecosystem part. Then later we will see the biome part in the same section. Okay. Then biosphere, I think we have completed. It was the component of atmosphere, I think. Okay. It was the component of physical atmosphere. Sorry, biotic part of environment itself. Environment has two parts, physical part, and then I told you about this biotic part, which is biosphere. There I have explained that biosphere part. Okay. Okay or not? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So biosphere is done. Okay. So now tell me, what was biosphere 2? What was biosphere 2?
Sir, artificial biosphere to how life evolves through experiment.
Yes, it was an experiment based artificial biosphere in USA, Arizona. Okay. So we are left with this ecosystem and biome, right? Ecosystem and biome part. Ecosystem, I have given you a glimpse, right? Then this. Okay. So my next slide is related to ecosystem only. Self-sustained structure and functional unit of biosphere. And this from here I will start tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
So what we are going to do tomorrow? So we what's the homework for today? The first thing is, what's the homework for today? So what you would prefer to get? What should I give you? Okay, you have to read about UNEP and tell me the theme of this year's 5 June Environment Day. Theme. What was the theme this year in 2020? It was recently last month. Okay, so you have to read about this Environment Day of this 5th June Environment Day. What was the theme? Actually, UNEP celebrates this day every year. In the world, the theme of World Environment Day I am asking, and you have to get me this theme and some details, reports, important reports of and details of UNEP. What reports? What reports are published by UNEP? I am very specific. Now I am very specific. I am asking for the reports published by UNEP and the theme of this year's World Environment Day. Am I clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Chalo fir. Thanks for the day.
What about tomorrow's class?
Tomorrow's class? Okay, I will discuss with Jatin sir, and Jatin sir will tell you, is there a class of environment tomorrow or not? Okay.
No, there is no class.
Okay, sir.
I think tomorrow we don't have a class of environment.
Okay, sir.
It will be on Monday now.
Okay, sir.
So you have to come with this home assignment on Monday. Any other doubt to anyone? Was I clear today?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No. Okay. She was saying on the first thing. Okay. 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 So everything clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then now
Yes, sir.
I'll take your leave. Jay.
Yes, sir.
Hello guys. Hi.
Hi,
How was the class? Noram. Manju. Palak, how was the class?
Yes, sir. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So was the class comfortable today?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
It was good, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So 5:10, you have to click on other link, okay, and attend the class of Keshav sir. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Keshav sir has cleared BPSC mains, and he will be having his interview. Okay. And so he will take at least 3 to 4 classes more, and then he will come back later. He will come back because his interview schedule. He will take 3 to 4 classes. So it's his final round of interview. Then he'll come back. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it is a great day in his life. So you can all congratulate him. So he will be a state PCS officer. And what is the theme of World Environment Day?